Warning. Bold statements ahead. Racism is bad. Sexism is also bad. Gamism. Wait, what's gamism? Gamism is the belief that all people who play a certain type of video game possess characteristics that distinguish them from other gamers. And it's totally cool to do. This is Billy. Say hello to the people at home, Billy.
Kill me.
Haha, what a jokester. Billy's a good lad. He does what he's told. He goes to work every day, he doesn't argue with his wife, and he rolls out the trash without having to be asked. Billy probably has a fat dong, and Billy's favorite video game is Dark Souls. A painful choice. Which means he loves to be tied up for the sexual thrill. And how do we know this? The games people play say a lot about them. It can tell us if you're an introvert or an extrovert, a man or probably still a man, a real dog fighter or a digital dog fighter, and the list goes on. If you happen to live in Florida and haven't heard, the entire world is currently stuck indoors, which means gamers are now at the top of the food chain.
Well. How the turntables.
But what about non-gamers, people with lives who need to keep their sanity during these trying times? What games should they play? What communities would fit their personality? The practice of stereotyping gamers is morally pretty questionable, but it's kind of fun, and we need to educate the uninformed. So, yeehaw. But there's one huge problem. There are a lot of video games. Too many video games, if you ask me. We should be decommissioning some of these bastards and anyone still playing them. 95% of video games are subpar at best. So I'm just gonna wing it and meander about like some drunk horny guy from genre to genre, game to game, and just try and piss as many people off as possible. Because I think that's good for viewership. I'll also be focusing on the big boys, the top sellers, the games where the largest number of people can be homogenized in the least amount of time for maximum efficiency. Plus, every indie game sucks anyway, and you're too easy to trigger. The best place to start our gaming ghost party is with the most toxic, the most polarizing.
Hey, go take a bunch of painkillers and overdose.
Even the word multiplayer is loaded with memories of scratchy mics, teabagging, and language so foul you'll revoke your own PlayStation privileges till you're 18.
Buddy, how long you been pissing on your f***ing balls? You got a tiny ass dick.
Multiplayer games are amazing because you get to play with old friends while meeting new people. But there's a dark side to multiplayer. You're given a window into how depraved and psychotic every human being is when put under the right circumstances. Place anybody, yourself included, in a dark situation, and you'll become the dark situation, adapting to your environment like an Adderalled up chameleon. So in the spirit of gamism and judging massive groups of people based on the faults of a few, let's start with first-person shooters. It all began with Doom, and quickly evolved from battling literal demons to battling yours and abused pickles demons. Call of Duty, Halo, Counter-Strike, Overwatch all attract a certain kind of player. Gamers in general are mostly insane people because most people are insane. We just hide it really well. And this insanity takes many forms. But for FPSs, it creates this overtly aggressive type of gamer. It makes sense. I mean, look at the gameplay. It's violent, aggressive, bloody, and definitely the cause of every problem in society. Poverty? That's on Fortnite. Violence? That's on Call of Duty. Incels? Okay, that's actually probably video games. That's pretty fair. FPSs are an overt, extroverted style of play. Everybody that plays a first-person shooter has incredibly high levels of testosterone. Even that one chick. Perhaps one too many scoops of protein powder. Maybe try a salad, put the dumbbells down and read a book, Mike Hawk. Because if I've learned one thing with my time in first-person shooters, it is that anything goes. Nothing is sacred. Mothers, sisters, your butthole? Yes, yours. All fair game from their perspective. In times of war, men will do horrific things. From Call of Duty players just screeching racial slurs during their totally not gay sleepover, to CSGO Russians blowing out your eardrums with a perfectly placed Sika Bliat that hits that note only the Russian tongue can access. FPS players represent raw masculinity, raw aggression, momentum, speed, infidelity, violence. And if you're gonna consider hopping into an FPS lobby, be prepared to get mentally steamrolled by verbal dick measuring contests. FPS games are easier to understand than some of their counterparts, like a MOBA, so they tend to attract more casual gamers. CSGO is obviously a layered, complex game, but the core concept is still easy enough: point and shoot. Whereas hop on over to League of Legends and just pray you don't get a seizure after they yell pentakill. The result? Trigger warning, a massive storm of toxic masculinity, perceived anonymity, competition, and most importantly, having to communicate with other human beings. And this creates a typhoon, the perfect storm of slightly evolved chimpanzees making verbal warfare, while simultaneously making virtual warfare. Even FPS esports is just a bunch of bros yelling at each other. $30 million franchise fees and more shit talking in a single event than every MOBA tournament ever combined. And that's a perfect transition into our next category. Let's talk about MOBA players. If I know one type of gamer, it's MOBA players. At least Dota 2 players, which are renowned for many things: passion, commitment, and being a total dick to the 9 other players in the game. But it's a different type of dickism than FPS players. MOBA players are sophisticated gentlemen. They're highly intelligent because their game requires pushing one whole extra button. And so their style of being toxic is more subtle, but way worse. In most games, if things get toxic, you can say, fuck this shit, I'm gonna go take a shit, and just leave. But in a MOBA, you're trapped in a cage with these gentlemen for hours on end, where you could watch an entire episode of Tiger King before the pick phase is even finished. And don't you dare think about leaving the game, or you'll never be allowed to play again, which is actually kind of preferable.
The prisoner wishes to say a word.
But some people love being miserable, and so they take it very seriously. They are committing an hour of their precious time that they could otherwise be spending watching other people play Dota or LoL. MOBA players are a passive breed. They don't engage in the testosterone-filled baboon battles of an FPS lobby. They'll just type GG I'm done and inexplicably ruin the game for everybody. This is Mason. He's a former Dota 2 pro and now streamer. Say hi to everybody, Mason.
Like, what is wrong with you, stupid animal?
Mason's a good lad, fat dong, yada yada yada. And he just died in a Dota 2 match, and decided the only recourse is to destroy his items and ruin the game for everybody. Why would he do that, you ask? Because MOBA players base their entire self-worth on a magical emblem. And when that is threatened, people start to do some crazy shit. They treat their ranking like it's the One Ring, and will sacrifice everything to keep it.
Destroy it!
Ruining games is an art form in the world of MOBAs. The people are artistic. Art. I said art. They push the limits of what being toxic means. It's really quite beautiful and impressive. You just gotta look at it from the right angle. Now there's one rule before we go in, Billy. No touching. You might catch it.
Cancel, блядь! Cancel!
Cancel!
Like, why the fuck are you laughing, you dumb toad? I'd fucking spit in your mouth, you fucking piece of shit.
You get the right! You fucking stupid! You not champion with the fucking game! Mais je suis marre! Il est gay claque ici! Ah!
Ult me! Ult me! What are you doing, you fucking idiot?
It sucks playing the shit! And I'm fucking addicted! So I can't quit!
Wow, so artistic. MOBA players are the raging assassins, the chat wheel heroes, the kids in school everyone is nice to, just in case. Now you see, all the triggered FPS players left the video and went to lift some weights to let off a bit of steam. But the MOBA players are stewing right now and crafting a 5,000 word epic about why I'm wrong and a dum-dum to put in the comment section below that none of us are gonna read. And that's okay, it's their nature. But now, in the spirit of making everybody hate me, rapid fire time. Rocket League players are just dogs that learn to use a controller. All PC gamers masturbate to pictures of motherboards on newegg.com. Fighting game players are all weebs. RTS players don't actually exist. It's just grubby playing versus a bunch of bots and always winning. Horror games and Minecraft are only played by YouTubers. And by YouTubers I mean Markiplier. World of Warcraft is just D&D for people without friends to play D&D. Alright, now that everyone hates me, let's continue.
Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
Okay, we've had enough toxicity, so let's take a look at some single-player games and the types of players they attract. And one of the most popular and interesting specimen within the world of gaming are open-world players. Open-world games are awesome. They create an illusion like an iceberg. The world should feel real and much deeper than it actually is, teleporting the player to an alternate reality where basically anything goes. Westworld the shit out of anyone unfortunate enough to meet you. Murder Thomas the Tank Engine. Play Watch Dogs while playing GTA. Whoa. The sky is the limit. Some of gaming's best are in this category. And as a consequence, open worlders are creative, artistic people with open minds willing to try anything and do everything. They can find seemingly every possibility within the game, explore every bizarre route, eventually even breaking the game and shattering the illusion of the iceberg. But there is a shadow side to these gamers. Open worlders are essentially Neo if Neo went around bazooking random people.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me. Show me.
Open worlders' creativity comes at a cost. Their minds are wild and powerful and can drum up all sorts of destruction, chaos, and evil. But there's only one man who can make an open world game bad enough to stop this evil. But my PhD in gamism extends much further than just establishing stereotypes. I'm also here to destroy bad gamer stereotypes, like this idea that gamers are all lazy, Dorito-coated basement dwellers. Some of the world's most successful, affluent people are gamers. Ninja got paid $30 million to stream to the 15 people on Mixer, and even some of history's greatest minds were gamers. Attila the Hun loved Civ 5. Napoleon Bonaparte was an avid Halo player, renowned for his warthog abilities on Blood Gulch. And Hitler hated video games. So if you hate gamers, you're kind of a Nazi. And Nazis are bad. But there's also this subtle, perhaps more nefarious notion that video games are a lesser hobby at best, and a bad addiction at worst when compared to other activities. It's just a passing phase for children, and not a legitimate activity. People want a hand job every time they do something outdoors, but God forbid you play a video game past 22. Brag about binge watching 8 hours of Tiger King. Hell yeah, dog. High fives all around. Why is your dick in my hand? But tell people you just played 8 hours straight of World of Warcraft and they look at you with disgust and assume your entire diet consists of McDonald's and Mountain Dew. I don't even understand, where does this stereotype come from?
Some fucking Mountain Dew, more McDonald's drinks. I probably have 30 McDonald's drinks here. 30 McDonald's drinks here.
And that leads me to the next gamer stereotype I'd like to smash. World of Warcraft. WoW players have been unfairly targeted in popular media and are often the flagship of boomers trying to ridicule gaming. The famous South Park episode, although lighthearted, still helped cement the stereotype that WoW players are basement dwellers with
absolutely no life.
The people of WoW are amazing, dedicated, and passionate players. Look at all that passion, it's disgusting. WoW has created countless friendships, relationships, and more. Fucking Leroy Jenkins, man. That shit was on Jeopardy. WoW was one of the first video games to become a cultural icon outside of the gaming world. And they've put up with Blizzard shit for a decade. And that should be enough to earn the respect of everybody.
I don't even remember when I had that.
Only to lose that respect after one Osmond Gold video. Now you're thinking, wow, this is impressive and very important work that you're doing, Paprika. And thank you. That's very true. But a danger exists to my research, and we must quell it now, before it gets out of hand. There are a growing number of people out there who dare play multiple video games of different genres. I know, it's disgusting. Call them mutts, gamer sluts, whatever you like, but these fiends can't help themselves and play seemingly every game they lay their eyes on. What would Jesus think? They dabble in a little League of Legends, then pop in the old Red Dead Redemption with no protection, screech China #1, and then go harass internet celebrities.
Shoot his guy. I like your movies.
But how do we stop this trend, you ask? Quite simple, my friends. Society's oldest method of control. Shame.
Shame. Shame.
Fucking French keyboard! Fuck!
You did it again! Yeah. Shame. Shame.
We need to shame these sluts, and we do that by taking all their despicable, promiscuous gameplay and posting it on this website I've created called Mixer, so everyone can see their depraved genre mixing. Currently, Mixer is a ghost town with not much content on it, so feel free to start posting anytime. Okay, that's the end of the video. You can stick around for story time if you like. Let me know in the comments below what gamer stereotypes I forgot. And now it's time for patron shoutouts. Thank you, Manderson. Man from the Nam, and who could forget Deez Nuts. And all my other patrons, thank you guys. Thanks for supporting the dream. Mwah, mwah. These are kisses, if you couldn't tell. Mwah. I know times are tough, guys. I appreciate it. And now, it's story time. Wake up on beach. Wander. Meet some guys dressed up in trash, holding AK-47s. Hey you! Naked! I come. Follow us. You're our prisoner now. They bring me to a base with a crudely drawn ISIS flag on it. They bring me into their base. Sing for us! I don't say anything. Well, you're fucking useless, aren't you? Bring him to the Thunderdome! Wait, what? They bring me into a prison with another naked. Now, fight! Me and the naked fight intensely with rocks. I kill him. Everyone is screaming, Allahu Akbar, in bad Middle Eastern accents. They bring me outside for a break. One ISIS member leaves the base, and I run outside while the door is open, being shot at by AK-47s while zigzagging. I escape into the desert. Then I left Egypt. bought Rust, and the same thing happened in Rust. It's beautiful. Goodbye.